Yo guys, what's going on? Obviously it's Spoofy here with TheCardGuyz. I'm here with Korey again. We're at Super Games.
How's it going?
Going pretty well. So I've had a lot of people actually ask me to speak with you in regards to differentiating between two ban lists, you know, the ARG ban list, and roughly right after that, Konami came out with their ban list. And people really wanted to know exactly what your thoughts on the two lists were, what you think could have been, you know, changed a little bit, and then from there, you know, what decks you could see in this combat format, things like that.
Yeah, so Yu-Gi-Oh! It's really changed, you know, the last couple weeks. We've been anticipating a ban list for a while now, and I think it was like so notorious that this ban list was like really sought after that ARG, I don't know if they did it exactly in response to Konami not releasing their own list, but ARG went ahead and made a new list because the format has been stale for a while. We've been like waiting for Necroz. Like Necroz came out in February. We expected them to get hit on the next ban list. They didn't get touched. They like barely touched preparation right. So we were expecting this ban list after Nationals to finally put, you know, the decks that have been dominating, whether it be Shadow, Burning Abyss, Cliffort, Satellar. None of those cards like really been hit for a while. But we were expecting them with Konami's ban list, this very anticipated ban list, for them to finally hit Necroz. And we finally got handed the ARG list, you know, in waiting for the Konami list, and they didn't touch Necroz like how I wanted them to touch Necroz. I think it was like pretty distasteful for them to ban Trishula. Yes, Trishula is really powerful, but I just feel like that the deck, like, that's like one of the signature cards, and while it may be like so powerful that it makes people play a certain way, I think the way that it made people play was actually kind of good. It like kept the power level of the games in check. It made you have to like step out of your way to like, I mean, what's not, you know, like kind of like a drawback to like not having a hand or not having a field, if it just means that you're not gonna get 3 for 1 by Trishula. Like I just felt like that Trishula like kind of like kept a lot of those power decks in check. Also, I feel like that making mistake 1 per deck, like the game needs floodgates. Like I think that the game where everyone has to play 3 MSTs in their deck is actually the most balanced that Yu-Gi-Oh! Can be. Like, I've talked to Patrick, and that's why Patrick doesn't like Vanity's Emptiness. Patrick doesn't want to like have to play MST to be able to kill Vanity's Emptiness, but Vanity's Emptiness is just one of the most fair cards in the game. Like if your deck is so combo oriented, and if your deck is so powerful that you're not playing cards like MST, Patrick won't even play Raigeki because it doesn't help him combo off. If you can't remove Vanity's Emptiness by removing any card off your opponent's side of the field, you deserve to lose to Vanity's Emptiness. And Mistake, while Mistake is like, I think Mistake's like a pretty fair card. Like I don't think that Mistake should have been put to 1 on their list. Like the fact that, personally, I think Rhoda should be back to 1. I don't even know why it got wait, like Rhoda, you could splash in any deck. It's the reason why Stratos got banned too. Like Stratos can just be splashed into any deck, and Rhoda being able to just be as a 3-of and Necroz, that like is like really powerful. And it's not fair that like people don't play traps because Necroz, they can search their whole deck is at their disposal. Nonetheless, the extra deck being set to the side, like they have access to get out of any situation. That's why traps are not close to playable. You saw them warning their 1 play, they just search their deck for the same play again, and I just don't think that traps like stand a chance when those kind of things are happening. But floodgates are a little bit different. Like they are what traps need. Like Mistake, if your deck can't draw any of your cards and you have to search for every one, you deserve to lose to Mistake. Mistake is like, maybe it goes to 2 or something, but like I don't even think that makes sense. I don't think they should have touched Mistake. At that same concept, I do agree with Law of All Chain being banned. Not only on Konami's list, but on ARG's list as well. I think Law of All Chain needed to be banned. It really sucked that, you know, the card was like really exciting and powerful and stuff, but it was too splashable. You could splash in any deck and like be able to detach, to stack or send anything. And it's just like, it was a staple, nonetheless. And yeah. The other change that both Konami and ARG had was they hit Jin. While
I think it's healthy for the game.
Yeah, I think it's healthy too, but only for like a weird reason. Like I think that Jin was like kind of like a card advantage thing. Like the fact that you could like use it from the hand and the grave to like help satisfy your rituals. I think that was like the more powerful thing about it. I think that it was good that it was like a floodgate monster, like making people have to play Dark Hole and reactive cards like that. Because I don't think the game plays enough of reactive cards. Like everything is like really combo based. But I'm not like super unhappy about them hitting Jin. Definitely the thing out of the ARG list that I would have to say that I'm most unhappy about is hitting Trishula. And also, I don't think they should have hit Vanity's Emptiness. Like, that was just, it's a one-of as it is. Like I said, it makes you have to play cards that make you like react to your opponent, and I just think that was like really lazy by them, unfortunately. I just think Vanity's Emptiness is like a fair card, and with it being at 1, it's not any more of a problem than like lose 1 turn or skill drain or whatever.
I agree. What do you think about all the Shadal stuff they get? Construct and
yeah, so you know, in Japan, I'm pretty sure they have Construct banned, and I think that is the Shadow that needs to be hit, is Construct. And you know what? I was thinking about it. I think Elf Shadow Fusion needs to get hit too. The fact, all the cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that like allow you to like OTK really quick like that, like just. I think is like a little powerful. It's kind of distasteful in the same way I think that banning Trishula is distasteful, but Construct being banned is honestly probably correct, let alone 1 per deck or whatever anybody else wants to think that it should be at. Construct is really splashable in any strategy. As you saw, I think Patrick and Desmond, they like splash Shadows into Necros earlier, and I for that reason I could see Construct getting put to 1 or banned. I don't think Seer needed to go to 1. I think that was like pretty silly too. But as far as the Shadow hit, I think the El Shadow's pretty good hit, and the Construct's a pretty good hit as well. Winda's like fine, you know, Winda's like kind of like a pseudo floodgate monster, and none of the other Shadows are really a big problem. But personally, I think Mathematician should have gone to 1 on either list. Like, Mathematician's pretty splashable in any deck for the same reason I was talking about, like, Rhoda and all that. Like, I just don't want cards to be able, and that's another thing too, Mathematician can search or whatever, and I just, like, I really want the game to be limited the amount of search cards like that. Rhoda, Law of All Chain, all those cards that, like, search your deck for any card are, like, really, really powerful. I think Upstart Goblin is like one of the healthiest cards for the game, honestly. Like, giving your opponent 1,000 life points, make the game drag out a little bit longer, and it's not like direct search. It just like makes you make your deck a little bit more linear and like focus your strategy. That way, Upstart Goblin always like, you know, draws you those exact cards you need. As far as like all the cards they touched, I would just have to say that I think it's a good format. I don't think that their list was like terrible. I just think that some stuff was really silly, like hitting Mistake and Vanity's Emptiness, and just like didn't need to really hit those cards.
Well, what do you think about the actual Konami ban list?
Yeah, I definitely talked a lot more about the ARG, but the Konami is really interesting. In fact, it's kind of suspicious to me. I started this video by talking about how I think that Necros should have been hit last list. In fact, everyone thought that they should have been hit last list. So we were waiting for this list for them to get hit, and they did not get touched. They did not touch Manju, they didn't touch Senju. They like they made Shuret to 1. Like, you play 3 Rhoda, who cares? Like, they should have made Rhoda to 1 once again, and I'm not gonna lie, I bet you if you pay attention to the ban list, they didn't put an expiration date on there. I'm expecting another ban list from Konami in a month. Maybe like the weekend after Worlds. Yeah. I think with their statement that they released not too long ago, that they are planning on, they're still working on it, if I had to guess. They didn't touch Shadow, they didn't touch Burning Mist, they didn't do any of the things that I expected. I actually posted a list of mine like not too long ago. It had like 35 or 40 changes on it, so I don't actually expect them to replicate that list, but I think that they need more time, and they just gave us this list to shut us up. There's no regionals, YCSs, or anything until Worlds anyway, so they don't have anything to lose. Obviously, they probably want people to not quit Yu-Gi-Oh! For the summer, which is probably going to happen, the fact that people wanted the, Necros and everything to get hit so long ago, and they still haven't done it. I'm expecting us to see another list from Konami in about a month. That is what I'm expecting.
I agree.
Hitting Law of All Chain, that was good. Just like how I said, hitting Jin was fine. Bringing back Trishula, that is what they needed to do. Synchros, we have seen no reason to play Synchros at all. Like, they're just like not as efficient as XYZs, and they tried giving us back Goyo, they tried giving us back Dark Strike Fighter, they tried giving us 3 Dark Strike Fighter and 3 Goyo. Wasn't enough. Brought back 3 Glowpole, brought back Trishula. Personally, I still think those cards are kind of fair. I don't think they're going to like dominate the format. I don't think they're just going to all of a sudden make, agents. I don't think they're going to make like any other decks that could just spam summon Trishula really quickly, good like how they used to be. But I do think that if Synchros stand a shot, they needed Trishula back. So I'm pretty happy they brought that back. It should, cause like a little bit more decks to be made. But other than that, I don't really I don't really remember that much that was like that significant on this list. Like that's why I'm expecting another one. I was just like, this is it. This is what we were handed.
I don't think they really made enough money on that set with all the Necros. That's my.
While yes, Konami needs to make money, I don't think that they are necessarily. That's the thing. I don't think they're trying to milk more money out of the Secret Forces. That was the most bought set I've ever seen, and since I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for a while, I don't think they're trying to like sell cards. I think that they're specifically trying to wait and see. And also, if they like plan on like hitting cards that we expect, like when Chicken Race comes out or Chicken Game, I guess is what they announced it's called. Like they're going to hit Royal Magical Library.
They're gonna have to.
And I hope that none of you are expecting to ever Instant Fusion a Node into play, because it's not going to happen. They're going to ban Instant Fusion, or make it one per deck or whatever. Maybe they'll let that slide. Yeah, something like that. Like they have to touch this list again soon. And it was so suspicious this last list, and I expect another list soon, and I expect it to have as many, if not twice as many changes on the next one than the current one.
Well, I mean, we have a new set coming out roughly about
40 days or 35 days.
Like a month from now.
Yeah.
I mean, you see the release of the Cosmos coming out.
Yeah.
And then you see stuff like, Shadow's not getting hit or anything like that. Do you see any decks coming out like in the future that could possibly impact the meta, kind of like Cosmos or maybe like the new Inferno cards or something like that?
Yeah. So I think that Konami does like to keep the game as explosive as possible. I don't know how often you guys play in Premier events, but when I play in these 40-minute Premier Yu-Gi-Oh events, I find people still going into time, even like a Necros Mirror. All 3 games will end on turn 3 or turn 4, and they'll be in time because of how long like the kind of like games take. So I think that Konami likes to keep cards that make the game go by pretty quick.
Yeah.
So while I personally want a lot of trap cards because I want the game to be grindy, I don't want people to be able to search their deck out of every situation. I don't want people to be able to, make like there's just no reason to really play traps right now. That I don't know if Konami will stick with their idea of keeping the games pretty fast, but if they do keep the game fast, just as long as they pretty much the decks that have dominated the last year are going to still be really good, just as long as they don't hurt them too much. But if you look at the Cosmo cards, they kind of replicate the idea that I was talking about Konami keeping the game really fast. Those cards are really aggressive. Yeah, Cosmo, they're just explosive spam. E-Telly's like quick play too. Like those cards can just like OTK really quickly.
And it's not once per turn either. That's what's
crazy. Yeah. Though I'm really interested. I'm sure Cosmo will be the chase deck when that new set comes out. But while I think Konami is going to keep the game more explosive like that, I don't think their list is going to be really close to ARGs. I don't think they're going to hit Necroza Trishula. They might make Unicorn a 1, or they should make Manju and Senju to 1, as well as I think ARG should. Like those cards are so powerful, but I hope the game becomes more grindy. I want 2 Torrential, I want 2 Solemn Warning, I want 2 Compulse. Like I want more reason to go first. Even in my own ban list, I put Trap, Dust Shoot, and Confiscation in there. While it may be like a stretch, because I haven't tested or anything, but I think that like going first, you need more of a reason to like go first. Right now, the second card is like such a big deal. Like these decks are really aggressive. They can brick kind of easily. Like if they draw 1 or 2 dead cards in their opening hand, like they're just not going to be able to do what their deck wants to do, which is OTK you as fast as possible. But I honestly do like want more traps. And like I said, like more reason to go first. Like I want that's pretty much it. Like I just want like Yu-Gi-Oh to be back to like where everyone does have to main 3 MST, and like you have to play around those kind of like Solemn Warning kind of stuff, like summon your worst monsters first rather than just like blind summoning every Manju you draw, blind activating every Kaleidoscope to summon Unicorn to search your deck. Like I want like more reaction in the games pretty much.
So one more question. I'm gonna go back to ARG for a second here. Necros just took that. You saw Patrick James actually win with Necros.
Yeah, huge shout out to Patrick, by the way.
He's a really good player.
He's one of the best players I've played against in my events for sure.
Now, Necros, I think they hit them really hard. Why do you think they still saw great success at the ARG?
Well, honestly, Manju Senju, those cards, we had Stratos banned. They just have 6 Stratos. They just, you know, like they don't ever get to brick. Not like already the Necros cards get to like search every card in their deck. Manju and Senju get to search for any card that searches for any card. Like you search Kaleido Herald, you get to search any card in your deck. Like those cards are just like really efficient. The amount of games that a Burning Abyss player will make Dante in turn 1 and mill 3 and like hit all power spells, their Soul Charge and Raigeki and whatever. Those games just like where variance plays into them, they're not going to play into Necros as much. Necros is just like every opening hand can do whatever they want because they have their whole deck at their disposal. And that's why it's been the best deck for the past however long. Like even Satellar's, like you can Rhoda for Deneb and then Deneb for 1 of 2 cards, but you summon Manju and you can. The plays are infinite. Like like those cards. That deck is the most powerful deck. Even banning Trishula, Trishula wasn't the one that mattered and wasn't the one that I like think they should have hit. Like you guys should hear me, Manju Senju just like turns on everything. Like you get the XYZ plays, which are, you know, pluses themselves. Like every time you make an Emerald and then protect it with Valk, you're just gonna like plus infinite. The Trish, they don't have to keep themselves in check anymore. They get to just leave Emerald in play and leave cards in their hand, and like do whatever they want. So. Yeah, I mean, and Unicorn shutting off all the extra deck monsters, that like covers half the other decks, you know? Like, maybe that's why they target Unicorn, not just so that you could Kaleidoscope for Unicorn every time, but like, even after you make Emerald, you can just shuffle the Unicorn back in your deck and then search it next turn and then do the same thing. So, I expect Necros to be the best deck until they make Manju and Senju to 1.
Okay, and 2 more things. Why do you think you saw a pretty big like turnout for Burning Abyss in that ARG? I saw a lot of people, and person behind you, Zane, did very well with it too. What are your thoughts on that since they hit the deck like they did at ARG?
Yeah, so they didn't hit it that bad, unfortunately. They touched Seer and what else?
Seer to 1 and Dante to 2.
Dante to 2, so like the Dante almost is irrelevant. Like yeah, you'll make 3 Dantes some games, but like you'll just be like a little bit more cautious now. Like you'll, you know, not just throw them away as sparingly as you did. It's pretty easy to play around just having 2 Dante. The 1 Seer hurts, but like I would still say that Burning Abyss, like the trap decks, like even Satellar can beat Necros, and I think that traps is like a pretty good way to beat Necros, but Burning Abyss, they kind of grind the game out. Like it's kind of hard to like kill them, and by the time they get to like draw their traps, like I think Mind Crush is just like really good against Necros, especially with Valk. Like now, you should always just expect them to have a Valk in their hand, since like Trish was like, you know, the main engine of the deck, and now I just feel like it's like Turbo Valk, and Mind Crush will almost always be really good against them. I just think Burning Abyss is like the best deck that can play Mind Crush.
I agree.
And just all their traps are like really reactive, like Karma Cut, to be able to get rid of everything that they have right then and there, and they also get to like main deck the floodgates. Like Burning Abyss, you get to main Mistake and Skill Drain in that deck, and those cards are pretty good against Necros. So I think that was the main reason why Burning Abyss did. I mean, just it's kind of like being results oriented, but at Nationals, you know, Burning Abyss put down a couple Necros decks when it got into the top tables, or whatever. Like I'm not trying to like focus on just those particular matches, but it's clear that Burning Abyss is not like a dog to Necros or anything.
Yeah. Well, one more. What do you think about Clifford Turbo?
That deck is, I think, good for the game. I see ridiculous claims that people want to ban Apocalypse Towers. Like, it costs 3 tributes. Yeah. Like, do you want to ban Obelisk the Tormentor and Sly for the Sky Dragon too? Like that. I think it's very, very silly that people want to ban that card. And play Crab King. I'm sorry you can't play 3 Daigusto Emerald in every extra deck. Like, you're gonna have to play Crab King. I registered Crab King for the last 3 Premier events I played and killed 2 towers in those tournaments. So like, I don't think like Towers is a problem. The card Wavering Eyes definitely like makes the deck obviously, you know, powerful. Yeah, it is a really good card. I just think that like it's hard to say. Like, I think it's like metagame dependent on whether or not Turbo Towers is good or better, worse than the trap version. It's just like, personally, I think that just like trap Cliff Forts is better against Necros, and Turbo Towers is better against Burning Abyss, and it's just like, or the more fair decks or whatever. It just like kind of just comes down to, you know, what the metagame's like. But I don't think Towers needs to be banned, and I think that just the deck, like Turbo Towers, I think that Summoner's Art needs to go to 1. Other than that, I think the Clifford deck's pretty in check. I don't think
it's
that
pretty
anything.
balanced right now.
Yeah, I think it's what the game needs. Like, and that's kind of what I was talking about earlier too. Konami wants the games fast, and Clifford, they killed themselves while spamming the board, and it's just like pay 800 to death and kill you right before I die. It's like I think that Clifford's is good for the current format.
Well, I do appreciate all this insight. I know we're going to get a lot more discussion videos out of you very soon.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm expecting that ban list again before we hit YCS Toronto, and I'm excited, and I hope everyone thinks about that, because it just doesn't make sense for them to leave Manju Senju all his cards untouched for this long, but yeah, definitely agree.
Do you plan on being at ARG Phillies for the Nationals?
I might. I didn't go to Charlotte. I didn't like any of the deck ideas I had. Personally, I think I liked wind-ups most last week, and then out of 270, 80 people or whatever, there wasn't a single registered wind-up, so I'm like pretty happy I didn't go. Necroz, I actually kind of knew that Necroz was the best build, but I didn't know what the best way to build Necroz was, so I just didn't show up and watched, and
I learned a few things.
Yeah, I actually learned a lot. It was really cool to watch all those new decks and new strategies and stuff, but Philly, I'd say I'm 50-50. I might go.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate all the insight, Korey.
Absolutely.
I know we'll have you on here more, maybe a couple deck profiles or something in the near future. But if you guys like this video, please definitely thumbs it up. And if you don't know, refresh it, try it again. I guarantee you'll like it a second time. That's pretty much it for us, guys. It's Korey and Spoofy with the Card Guys, and we'll see you later.
See you guys later.